Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today basically I am going to be explaining why I left Korea. If this is your first time watching my video, hello, my name is Genesis. You can call me Jen. I lived in South Korea for 6 months and I am home now in my room in Texas, and I'm gonna tell you why. If you are already a subscriber and you are just here because you really just want to know the full details and everything, then I will explain now. This is like a why I left Korea slash update. But if you weren't aware, you didn't know, I moved to South Korea July 31st of 2021 because I got a job to be an English teacher. So fast forward to February 28th, I believe. Anyways, it was right before like the new school start. I was about to like clock out of work, and I always say bye to my boss, the director of the Hagwon. By the way, I taught at a Hagwon, not a public school. So I just go in and I'm just like, hey, okay, see you Wednesday, because it was a Monday. I was gonna go back on Wednesday. And then he's like, okay, can you come in please, and close the door. And in my head I'm like, oh my god, am I in trouble? Like what did I do? He told me to sit down, so I knew it was serious. He just started showing me the schedule that we had planned. Also because before there was 2 students, I believe, who we knew were leaving, so because of that he had adjusted my schedule to alternate with him. Because by the way, I didn't say, but I was the kindergarten teacher. I worked at a very small family owned Hagwon. So in the morning I would have like the kindergartners. I only had 6, and then the director had like the first graders. He was telling me basically like, hey, so we had arranged the schedule to make it work because of those 2 students, but this past weekend 2 other students got pulled out by the parents. And in my head I'm like, oh my god, okay. And then he was like, and then this other one of your students, a kindergartner, her mom also put her out, and other 2 are moving to Gangnam, which is in Seoul. And by the way, I didn't live in Seoul, I lived very close by. I lived in Gimpo. So it was like I was only gonna be left with 1 student, 1 kindergartner. And even though I taught an elementary class once each day, like I was the kindergarten teacher. So basically then he says, we try to see how we can keep you or how we can make it work for you to keep on working here, but there's just no way we can make it work. And yeah, he was like, so sadly we have to let you go. And that's what he told me, like they had to release me, obviously, because I had no students. Basically there wasn't gonna be enough funds to pay me and to pay my rent. If you guys didn't know, when you teach in Korea, your rent is paid for and taken care of by your school. So I'll talk about how I felt when he was telling me this after I tell you exactly what happened. But yeah, he told me that, and then he was like, we're gonna give you a 30 days notice, and then if you want to look for like another teaching job in Korea, like you can find one probably by the end of the week or next week, because it's the beginning of the new year, you're already in Korea. So he was basically telling me that to not worry, that if I still wanted to stay in Korea, it was going to be easy for me to find a job, and that they could help me transfer my visa to the other school if I were to get hired. And yeah, he just kept saying I'm sorry and everything, but I just kept saying, I understand it's not in their reach. It's so sad overall for them too, because they were losing not only students but of course profit, because it is a business. So I was just like, you know what, yeah, thank you for telling me. And I basically was telling them like, by when do I have to say like what I decided or everything. So it was a Monday. On Tuesday there was gonna be no school, and then on Wednesday was like the new school year. So I just told him like, okay, tomorrow I'm just gonna talk to my parents and come to a decision. The decision of if I was gonna ask for the help to like find another job, another teaching job in another school in Korea, or if I was just gonna decide to just leave. When I got out, I called my parents, and while the director told me the situation, I felt relieved. Like I told my parents, like, I don't know, just in the moment that he told me, oh, we have to let you go, I felt relieved. And My workplace was not toxic in my opinion. Maybe it was toxic in some minor ways, or maybe I was just blinded. I don't know. But compared to other stories, like, my boss didn't treat me wrong. He treated me with respect. He never was all up in my business. He wasn't checking up and like, oh, where did you go? Because a lot of high ones kept checking their teachers, like, especially now because of the virus, like, oh my god, where'd you go? Some of them had to get tested like all the time. And not that I would have minded, but like, they were never up in my business. Like, they always let me do a thing. I was free to do any activities I wanted. I did lesson plan like every week, which was a lot, but I got used to it. Just being a teacher is so exhausting, and I was like the homeroom teacher. Like, usually in Hagwons, like, you have like your Korean native teacher, and then it's you. But in my school, since it was so small, I was like the core. I was the only kindergarten teacher because there was only 6 students. It wasn't like alternating. So I went in the morning, 9:40 a.m. and then at 10 I had circle time, and then from 10 to 12:30 I had the kindergartners, which I would do like English and just class time. So it was super exhausting. And also with my school, like, there was like two of my students who were twins. Like, we had to feed them because if they were by themselves, they would just play around and stuff. So like, I would alternate with another teacher. We were Chinese teachers, so we would alternate, and it just was so tiring because sometimes, like, it came to the point where like I would finish feeding one of the kids, and then I would switch with the other teacher. But then, because there was only a few minutes left, like, I had to eat fast, and because also we had to clean up after the kids. Like, there weren't like genders or anything, so like, we had to clean up after the kids, and after that I had class again. So I was always exhausted. By lunchtime I was drained, but thankfully after that class I had my 1-hour break. I'm so glad I had my 1-hour break and I was able to leave the school. But it's just those things, like, I had to feed the kids, help clean after lunch, and just, I didn't have a guide in what to do as in lesson planning. Sure, sometimes when I would ask like, oh, what I could do, they would just give me a book and be like, you can go off this book, and that's it, like, so. And also, I didn't like that. I just didn't like that I didn't feel close to anyone in my workplace. It was so small, so I didn't have another teacher and another English teacher to like talk with or bond with or get ideas from and go out. And so I lacked a lot of socialness the whole day. The only socialness I had was with my kids, and I would go home at 6:40 p.m. so exhausted, and it just, I felt lonely in the workplace. And then I would go home and be in my small apartment alone, tired to even do anything. Like, sometimes, yes, I had to go to Daiso and stuff, and I'm so thankful that Daiso and Olive Young and Home Plus, everything was close to my apartment, and even the subway station. But like, it wasn't like I was meeting a friend after, like, oh, let's go grab dinner, let's go to karaoke. I only had one friend in that city, and I had met someone else and I had met like another fellow YouTuber, which I'll link their channel below. She's awesome. She's living in Seoul now. But after that we didn't. So I don't know, it's just, overall I was lonely, and I was so exhausted from work. Working with 4 or 5-year-olds is so exhausting, and having to plan out the whole week just alone, everything is just, maybe it doesn't sound like a lot, and maybe I can do another video talking further about how I was feeling, or maybe I can talk about it in this video. Like I said, it's a life update, or why I left exactly Korea. But basically, back to when I was telling my parents, like, I felt kind of relieved when the director told me that, because at this point, once again, it's hard to explain everything I felt, but my mental health basically was not good. Like, if you follow me for a while when I was in Korea and you've been on my Instagram, like, on my weekends you would see, like, I would go to Seoul or I would go to Incheon. I would just go somewhere and I would just have fun, and I'd be going to cafes and hanging out with friends, and it would seem like I wasn't having the time of my life, and I was. But as soon as it was Sunday afternoon or Sunday night, I would just feel so depressed because I just thought, oh, I'm going back to work. Here goes to another week of being alone from Monday to Friday, and being so exhausted and feeling so alone at work and not being able to talk to anyone. And sometimes there were times where, like, you know, these two people where would just like look at me and like just I will feel so put aside, while these other teachers were treated, I guess, I don't know that they were treated better, but like when it was their birthday they made dinner and we all ate together, and when it was my birthday they didn't. And I don't want to be the person like, oh my god. And like honestly I don't care because I had plans but it's just those small things that make me feel set aside and just put more fire into the pit, if that makes sense, like into how I felt. So anyways, yeah, Sundays always was hard for me because I just felt so lonely and I was just there in my apartment. And yes, I would take myself out on dates. That's some of the times where I would start posting like Sunday chill vlogs, because yes, it was chill, but those Sundays were basically because I didn't even have energy to get on the subway and go to Seoul or go somewhere else. Like I was just in my area and I would go to a cafe and then I would go home, and sometimes I would cry. I would FaceTime my parents and just tell them like, oh, why do I feel like this? I'm so tired. Like I just couldn't. Like I felt so exhausted, and I didn't hate my work. I genuinely loved my kids and I enjoy working, but it just came to the point where like I wasn't enjoying myself overall, if that makes sense. I was in Korea and I had so many things in my reach, but I wasn't having the energy anymore to go out because of being so exhausted from work and stressing so much about work. I kept doubting myself. You know, once again, I was lonely at work. Like it wasn't like I could just go and talk to one staff and be like, oh, how's your day? Like they were so quiet. Like I'm telling you, I would just go in and say hi to my boss, say good morning, and then I would just say bye, and that would be the only dialogue I would have with him and with other staff. It wasn't healthy for my mind. So anyways, I talked to my parents that Tuesday and I was like, hey, so this happened. And obviously my parents got happy because they were like, so that means you're gonna come home early. And in my head I was just like, yes. Like I felt relief because yes, I was homesick. I think I was going through burnout. Like I was so exhausted, not having time or energy for anything. The only times I would go out was like Saturdays, because Sundays became to the point where I just felt so even tired to even like it would be Sunday and I would be like, oh my god, if I go out, like it will probably be Seoul, because where I live, like there wasn't really much to do other than cafes, and usually all my friends I really had were in Seoul. So it's like, why am I gonna make them come here if I can just go there? There's more things to do in there. So like I would think, oh, it's Sunday, if I go, then I have to go to the subway ride, and then I have to come back, and then I'm gonna be all exhausted and tired, and then I'm not gonna have time to rest, and I'm not gonna have time to go over really quickly about my schedule for tomorrow for work. And it just wasn't healthy. And my parents were like, so do you want to keep on staying in Korea? And I honestly was at a point where I didn't want to teach anymore. Like, of course, when I taught, I tried my best, and like I said, I enjoyed it because I love the kids, but at the same time it was so tiring. Like, especially because wouldn't feel so supported or assisted by my bosses. So like I just felt completely alone, and I felt like I was the one carrying everything, and it's just exhausting. And I never was a person to complain. I was just like, oh, it's fine. But I was like, I don't think I can do another year of teaching. And yeah, sure, maybe I could have done my better research and found a better school. So I was like, you know what, I don't think I can sign another contract. And because it would have to be a year, usually contracts are a year. So I was thinking, if I sign another contract, then that means I would start in March of 2022, and then I would end March 2023. And in my head, I was already thinking to be home in August and start my master's degree 2023. So I was like, if I do this whole thing, then I would miss another school year of getting back to school, because that's one of my big things. I really, really want to go back to school. So I was like, I don't think staying in Korea is an option. And also, like I mentioned, I was feeling really lonely, and I was feeling just, I don't like to use the word depressed, but I was like, I constantly cried on Sundays. Sometimes I would have like some panic attacks. Like, it was just not healthy for me anymore. So I just was like, you know what, this opportunity from God, or I don't know what, this thing that happened, maybe it's for a reason, and maybe it's just my time to go back home and heal. And I learned a lot already, so that's when I decided it's best for me to just come back home and end my life in Korea. So that is basically why I left Korea. I think a lot of people probably thought I quit, because when I made it public on my Instagram story or my post, I'm not sure what it was, but I said that, I had to make the decision to come back home because I missed family and blah, blah, blah. It's not because I quit. I was let go because of the situation, that my student count went down. So that is why. I don't regret coming back home. I do feel like if I was still in Korea, I would have, like, if I had gotten another job, I feel like, I don't know. At the same time, I don't know, because what if I would have gotten a better job and been in a better condition, a better place, in a better apartment, a better atmosphere at work? Sure, but I really did at that time, and now I still need my family's comfort, because I was just so alone. And even though I had people back in Korea, I know I just needed my family, and I know I just needed to come home and like just sit down and focus on what's next, go back to school and just fill yourself with knowledge. And so that's what I'm doing. So as for an update of my life, I am here, as I said, in my home in Texas. So right now, what I'm just trying to focus on is taking care of my mental health, just reconnecting with family and friends, because I just feel this like not burden. I don't know. It's just I've been away for 6 months, so obviously I didn't really get to stay in constant contact with a lot of friends back home. So I feel like this is just my thinking. Like, I'm overthinking, but I just feel like trying to like connect with all of them again, knowing that they've already made all the friends and like other things. I just feel like I'm intruding. I don't know why I'm saying this. I'm just venting to you guys, but I'm just trying to reconnect with anyone and everything here. And I mentioned masters. I already been looking into where I can start to apply and everything, so I've started investigating that. And right now I don't have a job because this was so sudden. I found out that I was being let go of work February 28th, and I didn't even mention, but after the week they told me about I was being let go, I told them the following week on Friday, March 11th, that if that could be my last day, because I decided just to come home like March 24th. So from March 12th to the 24th is where I just stayed at an Airbnb, and I was just trying to go to the last 2 places that I wanted to go to, like Lotte World and some cafes. But yeah, that's what I've been doing now, just focusing on like trying to get my feet back into education. I honestly, guys, just still I'm not sure what exactly I'm gonna do for my career. I have ideas of what I want to do for my career, but I'm just feeling so much pressure. Like, I'm really gonna go back to school, and I'm already thinking about it. It's just, honestly, it's a lot on my mind right now. Just, I had a whole life in Korea, and all of a sudden it just, and I had the choice to stay longer, but because I don't think my mental wellness, or I don't know, I just wasn't good mentally, emotionally, and physically. So I knew I had to come home. And even here, now that I'm home, it's been hard mentally, and just trying to arrange my room and trying to make it cute and all my style and aesthetic has been helping me to be distracted, and also just helping like with some things on social media has been helping just get distracted. And I haven't really gone out. Today's one of the first days when I'm filming this and I'm gonna like go out to like eat pizza. But and also just all the personal things that are too personal to talk about, but I'm just really trying to find myself and find myself here, because you know, in Korea it was great to, even though I was going through the hard time Monday through like Friday because of work and feeling alone and everything, like I was still able to just walk out and go to a cafe. But here it's like I need a car, and I don't have a car because I sold it before going to Korea. But I'm just mumbling, I'm sorry, but I hope that you guys just were able to understand exactly my situation of why I decided to leave. And I hope that you will remain in my journey of my life in general. One of the things that has been, I guess, affecting me, which not really in a big way, but it's just as soon as I said I was coming back, or as soon as I landed here and I started posting not such interesting things, I started losing followers on like Instagram. And I'm never really a person about checking numbers, but this time it's not so much about the numbers, it's just seeing how only because I lived in Korea people followed. And I understand, but it makes me feel like, oh, my value is only in that, you know, like. And I do feel a bit sad because obviously I won't have that cafe content anymore that I enjoyed filming, and all these fun and exciting weekend vlogs. Like I can still have exciting vlogs, but I'm home now, so obviously some things I am very careful about showing, and there's not that much to do here. I'm not in a big city, I'm in a small city in Texas, so it's like I can go to Walmart. But overall, I just want to say thank you to those of you who have stayed here since the beginning and you're still here and you're taking the time to watch this video and you're still hearing this now. Thank you so much. Like seriously, gracias. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, especially if you're one of those subscribers that truly, like, genuinely likes not only my content but me as a person, and that you genuinely just are here in the journey of my life. You're part of this and I invited you to this, and just I hope that I will get inspired to do content that I will enjoy. And my YouTube channel since the beginning was like a hobby. It's still a hobby. I never like think, oh, I have to do it to get a few like a specific amount of number of views. Like I don't care. I do it generally because I enjoy it, and my YouTube channel is like my diary that I can look back to and that my future children can look at and look at all my adventures and look at all my confusions and look at all my random fits, you know. Like, so overall, thank you if you're still here, and if you're still going to be part of my journey of what's next, then thank you. And hopefully soon I can get inspired to do more like lookbooks and get into that whole thing again. But one thing that is exciting is that once I have my whole room like that I'm satisfied with, I definitely want to do a room tour. And yeah, but anyways, other than that, thank you so much for watching this video. And yes, now you know why I left Korea and a little bit about what I'm doing now. And overall, I'm okay. I don't think I'm at a 10 right now, but I'm working towards that, or to be close to it. And I'm just going to continue trusting in God and putting in my effort and trying just to take care of it, how I said, of my mental health and just everything. And here's to seeing what's next. And yeah, I think I just have to give myself more credit and realize that I did enough and I can continue to do more here in home. So thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you give it a like, and if you guys just want to start a conversation down below, I always like responding to comments or any DMs that I get from people who follow me from social medias. But other than that, how many times did I say other than that? I don't know, but I'll see you guys in the next video. After this video, I still have like a couple, maybe 2 or 3 more Korea vlogs, so stay tuned for that. And yes, we'll see what happens now. Bye.